And we're here with Rita Zawaideh. Rita, thank you so much for joining us. I'm really excited to talk to you today.
Well, thank you very much, even though you blocked me at
I'm so
first.
sorry.
That's okay.
I owe you one.
No problem.
So Rita, I know you're actually a recipient of our Globalist of the Year award last year. You're a humanitarian in Seattle, and you own your own Caravan-Serai company, which leads tours all across the Middle East. So could you tell us a little bit about what you do at Caravan-Serai and leading these tours?
Sure, Sarah. Thank you. Caravan-Serai has been around for about 20 years, and it does tours to the Middle East, North Africa, Iran, and Turkey, and that's the only areas that we really specialize in. It was our way of getting people to see our part of the world and to really understand it, and not just go and visit and say, oh, I bought a rug or I bought a pot or something, but really get in and meet with the people and see what it's like, so we can get the stereotype that people have out of their minds, about that part of the world.
That's great. And so can you tell us, well, first of all, what's your best kept travel secret in the Middle East? Where's the place that you go to that's always really surprising when you lead groups there?
Wow, that's really hard, especially with all the commotions going on in the Middle East right now. It makes it very, very difficult. I mean, one of my favorite tours and one of the best tours, and was always a highlight for a lot of our clients, was Syria. But we're not doing tours to Syria at this point. Iran has become really quite big, and I think that is an incredibly well-kept secret because people just never knew all the different varieties of places and things that you could go to in Iran. People were actually shocked when they went there. And the other place is actually Saudi Arabia. Everyone expects Saudi to be a total desert. And so when they get to Saudi, they're surprised with all the water, the greens, the mountains, the same thing. You have pictures up right now of Iran, and Iran is the architecture, the friendliness of the people, everything that's there doesn't meet the stereotypes. This was the new minister of Iran that you just showed, and what you have up now is to show people all the different variety of what you can wear on our tours. People get really afraid of what they can wear on tours since they have to cover their heads. But as you see, these are 4 women that are on our trip. They picked what they would want to wear, and they were very comfortable with it. It was all they had to do was make sure that the back of their butts were totally covered, and their hair was covered, but not totally. They still had hair showing, and they were very comfortable in traveling that way.
And can you talk about some other tips that you have, maybe in Iran and some other places? What sort of things do you prep Seattleites for when you're going to these countries? For instance, do you are politics encouraged? Talking about politics with travelers, or are there other things like that of how you prep Seattleites?
The first thing we tell people is put all your preconceived ideas aside. Go in with an open mind, totally an open mind, and be willing to listen and to and just see what people say and hear. So, a lot of people go in with their preconceived ideas that the women are all covered, so that means they're backwards, they're not educated, or all Arabs are Muslims, or they're terrorists. We say, no, forget that. Please totally forget that. There are Christians in our part of the world. There are people, we take people into the homes of Iranians that we know. And people are totally shocked. They go into the houses and they go, wow, these are westernized homes. The kids wear jeans. They listen to the same music our kids listen to. They have a lot of things that it's different, but what you see on the outside is not really what you have on the inside of the house. So that's one thing we always want people just to forget. And I usually, when I start a tour, I will ask people a couple of questions. I says, before you came to Iran, what were your ideas of Iran? Then we'll ask them at the end of the tour, what are the things that you learned about Iran after you left? And, it's 100% change in the way that they would be thinking. You know, they would just say, we just didn't realize how open the people were, how friendly the people were. We didn't realize that we could tell people we were Americans and not have to worry about it. You know, just a lot of this stuff, you know, so I think that was very interesting for people. And, you know, everybody wanted to take pictures. And so I would say, look, you want to take a picture? Just think if you're in your own country and you're working in your garden and all of a sudden a busload of people jump off the bus and they all have their cameras. What would you do? I says, well, I wouldn't like it. And I says, well, that's what it's like when you go to a different country. You know, you just don't want that. So ask them. Ask for their permission to take a picture, and you'll find out that they'll want to take pictures of you with them, and them with you, the same thing. You know, and they'll start talking to you. Yeah. And they'll start asking you questions about America and how they like America and they like Americans. But we say stay away with politics. I mean, you know, it's always safer in a lot of countries because you don't really know where they stand at all. So there's no reason. I mean, they understand that you are different than your government. And Americans need to understand that Iranians or Arabs or Yemenis or wherever they're from, they're also an individual people that are also don't say the same words as the government does. They're very different. And people have to understand that. And I think we get people to understand that because we keep our groups quite small so they can interact with the locals a lot.
And I have some images here of you do humanitarian trips too. I have some images here, I think, from Jordan. Can you talk about those trips, what that experience is like?
Those are actually for humanitarians and doctors that want to come on our missions that we do. These are totally a nonprofit. I do it under Salam, which is a nonprofit organization that we have. And what we do is people, doctors, humanitarians, buy their own tickets. We have hotels arranged, and we have vans, and we go out to all the different sites where we have the displaced Syrians. The pictures that you have is this last winter we had a major snowstorm, and you have over 175,000 Syrians that are in Zaatari, which is one of the biggest refugee camps in the world, and it's also listed as one of the 5th largest cities in Jordan. And then we have over 200,000 plus that are living outside the camps, and those are the people that we go and help. And we are delivering blankets to them at the time because the temperatures were down to below 20. It was a lot of snow, and people were freezing to death. So we sent out a message to clients that have been with us on trips and also other people here in the Seattle area and around the U.S. that we needed to collect blankets. And in 24 hours, we were able to get 4,000 blankets. Wow. That were delivered to my office and delivered directly to Jordan.
Wow. Incredible. And so how do you take those supplies from your office from Seattle to
you know, we do these trips, the humanitarian trips, every 45 days. So we take a lot of medicines and baby clothing and hand knitted things. We take those in our luggage for people that are going from here or other states that I send it to. And otherwise, we do containers that we send out of here by ship. And from last January till this December of 2013, we sent out 16 containers. Wow. Ourselves, full of medical supplies and clothing and blankets, filtration bottles, pretty much everything you can think of.
And just to recap, we're talking with Rita Zawaideh, who's a humanitarian and leads tours to the Middle East with her travel company, Caravan-Serai. You mentioned traveling to some countries where there's some instability going on, like Egypt and Jordan and Turkey. Can you talk about, is it safe for Americans to travel there? Are you still leading tours to those places while there's conflict going on? What is that experience like?
Well, not into all areas. We're not taking. We do into Egypt. We do into Jordan. We're taking tours. We do into Lebanon. We're still taking them. But like I say, our tours are very small. We take under 15 people. So we're able to actually control it. We have our people on the ground. We have our offices, so we know exactly what's happening as much as anybody does. As much as, if you're traveling around the U.S., there's enough violence happening here in your own backyard that you don't even know what's going to happen to you. So people just need to be aware. And one of the reasons that our company only deals with the Middle East is North Africa is we speak the language. We are from the region, and we really know it quite well. And we are always informed on a regular basis of what's happening. We have stopped our tours to Yemen because I feel that that's very unstable at this point. The same thing with Syria. It's unstable, that there's no way that we could actually protect anyone at all if they were going in. We do Morocco, we do Tunis, that's fine. There are no actual issues in those parts.
Well, my last question for you is, so travel season's coming up. What advice do you have for Seattleites who are looking to travel to the Middle East right now? Do you have a favorite spot that you encourage people to travel to, and kind of what general tips do you have?
Oh, God. Well, we have a tour actually leaving next week to Iran, and we have another one in September. Just for anyone that's going into that part of the world, be open, be friendly. You'll love the people and you'll love the place. Don't just come back and say you got a carpet, but actually exchange email addresses with people and keep track of the situation and what's happening and keep in contact with those people. It's a fabulous area to go to, and there's something for everyone.
Thank you so much for joining us, Rita. And because this is, we're doing a fundraiser today for Give Big for the Seattle Globalists, I was wondering if you could maybe share with us what your favorite part of the Globalist is. You're our Globalist of the Year in 2013, so maybe why people should give the Globalist today.
The Globalists, I think it's just a fantastic organization. I love all the people that work on it, and it's great to see such young people that are worried about the world and what's going on in the world these days.